Hello, my name is Muhammad Anas Nasir, and today I will be discussing the role of emotional intelligence in managing workplace conflict. Conflict is a common experience in professional settings, and while it can be challenging, it can also present opportunities for growth. I will share an example from my own experience where unclear communication and overlapping responsibilities created tension within a team. By applying emotional intelligence, I was able to keep resolution of the issue and transform it into positive outcome. This presentation will outline that journey. The presentation will be structured into four sections. First, I will define workplace conflict and why it matters. Second, I will outline the concept of emotional intelligence and its key elements. Third, I will describe the specific conflict situations that arose in my team. And finally, I will reflect on how emotional intelligence contributed to resolution and what broad lessons can be drawn. My aim is to highlight how emotional intelligence is not just a personal trait, but an essential professional skill for effective teamwork and leadership. Conflict occurs whenever individuals perceive their goals or responsibilities to be in opposition. In workplaces, it often stems from unclear communication, limited resources, or difference in working styles. In my case, conflict arose because two people, including myself, were given overlapping tasks. Initially, it seemed like a small oversight, but as deadlines approached, frustration increased. Each of us felt like that our efforts were being duplicated and undervalued, which created tension and risk delaying the project. This reminded me that conflict itself is not inherently negative. What determines its impact is how people choose to manage it. It was important to address this conflict before it worsened. If left unresolved, the consequences would have been stress, resentment, reduced productivity, and a negative atmosphere in the workplace. However, there was also a clear opportunity if we could resolve the conflict. We could improve collaboration, clarify roles, and build trust within the team. This was my motivation to take action and apply emotional intelligence to the situation. To approach this situation, according to Daniel Goleman's emotional intelligence framework, it includes five domains: self awareness, self regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. These are not just abstract concepts, but practical tools that can help us navigate difficult conversations, manage our own emotions, and build stronger relationships. Let me now walk you through how I applied each of these domains to resolve the conflict. The first domain is self awareness. I recognized that I was personally becoming frustrated with the lack of progress. I reflected on my own emotional responses and realized that if I allowed my frustration to show, it could escalate the situation. Being aware of my own emotions allowed me to pause, take a step back, and choose a more constructive way to respond. Next is self regulation. Once I was aware of my frustration, I made a conscious effort to manage it. Rather than blaming my colleagues or responding impulsively, I kept calm. I suggested that we have a team discussion to clarify responsibilities. By regulating my own response, I was able to steer the conversation away from the conflict and towards resolution. The third domain is motivation. I focused on our shared team goal, which was to deliver the project successfully. I reminded everyone that resolving the conflict was not about assigning blame, but about ensuring we could meet our deadlines and produce quality work. By keeping the bigger picture in mind, I motivated the group to cooperate and stay committed. The fourth domain is empathy. I took time to listen to each colleague individually. This allowed me to understand their perspectives and frustrations. Both felt they had been working hard but were not recognized due to the confusion. By acknowledging the stress and validating the feelings, I help myself and the other person feel heard. Now, this lowered defensiveness and made myself and the other person more open to compromise. Now, finally, I applied social skills. I facilitated a team conversation where everyone could openly express their views. I encouraged active listening, clarified the division of responsibilities, and helped the team agree on a communication plan moving forward. By applying strong interpersonal skills, I guided the group from conflict to collaboration. The outcomes were positive. The conflict was resolved, and the roles were clearly defined. This led to smoother workflows and eliminated duplicate work. Team morale improved because everyone felt listened and be respected. Most importantly, the experience demonstrated that emotional intelligence can turn tension into growth, building stronger and more resilient teamwork. In conclusion, emotional intelligence was the key to resolving this conflict. By being self aware, regulating my responses, staying motivated, showing empathy, and applying social skills, I transformed a difficult situation into a learning opportunity. The key lesson I learned is that empathy combined with structure leads to successful teamwork. Conflict in the workplace is inevitable, but with emotional intelligence, it becomes constructive rather than destructive. Also, on a personal level, this experience reshaped how I view the conflict myself. Through emotional intelligence, by being aware of ourselves, empathizing with others, and communicating effectively, conflicts can be transformed into opportunities for growth. My example showed how a situation of overlapping responsibilities could have created long term damage, but instead led to a better process and a better outcome. Thank you for listening, and I would be glad to answer any questions. Thank you.